Hello dear friends, welcome to S.V.K.T Arts, Science and Commerce College. Today, dear friends, we are going to learn about the web www, that is World Wide Web, and its evolution, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, Web 3.0. The difference between Web 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. In earlier sessions, we have learned about e-resources, Enlist, Shodhganga, difference between barcode and QR code. Today, we are going to learn about a new topic, that is www, that is World Wide Web, well known to you. Dear friends, let's start. You know, World Wide Web is not at all equal to Internet. That is, we must remember both are not the same. Web is different than Internet. What is web? The World Wide Web is larger collection of interconnected documents or content. Facilitates communication between people and also computers. Okay. So, web is based on hypertext. Websites are usually created using hypertext language, also based on client-server model. We, the users, are client, and from where we fetch the data is a server. Okay, so when a web client requests data from the web server, the web services are responded to the web client. With a web browser, one can view web pages that may contain text, images, videos and other multimedia and navigates between them via hyperlinks. You might have seen that we can navigate between different web pages through the hyperlinks. On March 12, 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist and former CERN employee, coined the term World Wide Web. What is Internet then? Internet is a collection of interconnected computer networks. So, when the computers are connected to each other, it creates what? Internet. It is very different from what? Website. Now, we come to Web 1.0. Web 1.0 is the earlier technology. It is used to called push technology. It is an old internet where it allows user to read from the internet. Here, the Web 1.0 was a static type of technology. The web pages were static in nature. The users can only read from the internet. So, there were few producers and few consumers. It was a one-way platform for information sharing. So, as I told you, Web 1.0 is read-only static web. It was first implemented and in 1989 up to 2005. It was defined as Web of Information Connections. Web 1.0 technologies includes core web protocols, that is HTML, HTTP and URI, that is Hypertext Markup Language, Hypertext Protocol and Uniform Resource Identifier. They have read-only content, establish as online presence and make their information available to anyone at any time. It includes static web pages and use basic hypertext markup language. Okay, so what was Web 1.0? It uses hypertext markup language, okay, for sharing of contents. You can see the Web 1.0. The Web 1.0, there were only HTML pages. Few content creators were there who produced media files. Usually, companies used to create the web pages that time, and through a file server, very few content consumers were there who used to access these resources, and there were very slow connections that days. The limitations of Web 1.0 are: the Web 1.0 pages can only be understood by humans, that is, web readers. They do not have machine compatible content. Usually in Web 1.0, the websites were created by the website developers who are responsible for all sort of editing. Then the webmaster is solely responsible for updating users and managing the content of website. Lack of dynamic representation. As the websites were static, there was lack of dynamic representation. That is, to acquire only static information, no web console were available to perform dynamic events. Now, what is Web 2.0? After Web 1.0, Web 2.0 technology emerged, a term used to describe a new generation of web services and applications with an increasing emphasis on human collaboration. The technology, Web 2.0 technology, has increased the concept of human collaboration, sharing of information. Web 2.0 means share. Web 2.0 is a two-way platform, whereas 1.0 was a one-way platform. It is a platform that gives users the possibility, that is the liberty, to control their data. This is about user generated content and the read write web. Web 2.0 is what? Read write web, whereas 1.0 was what? Static web. It was read only web, whereas Web 2.0 is what? Read and write web. For example, Facebook, Twitter, Dig, Flickr, YouTube, all are these what? The Web 2.0 platforms which allow users to write their own content, share their content with each other in real time. So, this is about user generated content and the read write web. People are consuming as well as contributing information through blogs or sites like Flickr, YouTube, Dig, etc. You can see the difference. Earlier in Web 1.0, there were few producers and few consumers. But with the advancement in Web 1.0 to Web 2.0, both the producers and consumers has increased a lot. In Web 1, in 2.0, you have distribution relationship. Everyone can be a content producer. Anyone can write, anyone can share his her content using the web. Content is distributed across the network. Data is shared between the sites. Earlier it was not possible. Web 2.0 were in the other figure you can see few facilitators of content sharing were developed in the Web 2.0 technology, such as discussion groups, website hosting services, wikis, blogs, media file sharing, and through internet the people have started sharing and collaborating using these various platforms. The internet connectivity has become fast. The content sharers were increased. Now comes the social web. Social web is an important part of Web 2.0. This term is used to describe how people socialize and interact with each other throughout the web. Web 2.0 consists of number of tools and platforms that allow users to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas with each other. The users are not the end users of the Web 2.0 applications, they are participants also. In Web 1.0, it was only static web. Okay, the users were only the end users, they were only using the pages. Okay, whereas in Web 2.0, users are not only end users but they are participating in the social web. Web 2.0 applications that we see today are podcasting, blogging, tagging, contributing to RSS, social bookmarking, social networking. You might have seen these logos and might have used also. Now comes the difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. So, what is Web 1.0? This is mostly read-only web, whereas Web 2.0 is read and write web. 45 million global users were there during 1996 were using Web 1.0, whereas it was more than 1 billion plus global users during 2006. Focused on companies, it was focused on communities. Web 1.0s were using home pages. In Web 2.0, people started writing blogs. Web 1.0 was limited to owning the content by the companies, whereas Web 2.0 has started sharing the content. The basic protocols were the HTML and portals, whereas Web 2.0 uses XML and RSS. Web forms were used by Web 1.0, whereas web applications have been developed in Web 2.0. Netscape was there during Web 1.0 technology. Now Google is used during Web 2.0 technology. Page views were there. Now in Web 2.0, cost per click is available. But there are some limitations to Web 2.0 also. Web applications are still rigid. Each website have its own data and it is not sharing. Okay, Web 2.0 is a social change. The technical part has not changed enough. That is what technically saying Web 2.0 has not changed very much. Okay, though it has provided us the different platforms for sharing of content. The applications are still the same, still rigid. Now we are introducing a new kind of web. Okay, main reasons are how will the information will be organized. We will still do the surfing on the machine or machine will surf for us. Okay, that is, now we should think how our information will be organized. Okay, and will do the surfing means will we do the surfing or will the machine will surf for us? Web of data. New web will be capable of reading and understanding content and context. So, the new web technology will be capable of what? Reading and understanding the content and context. Earlier it was not possible to understand the content and context. When the web understands the content, it can better satisfy the request of people and machine. Web 3.0 is referred to as an intelligent web or third generation of internet based services. So, what is Web 3.0? It is referred to as an intelligent web. It is read write intelligent web or third generation web that is based on internet services. The term was coined by John Markov in 2006. He explained there is no easy consensus about how to define what is meant by Web 3.0, but it is generally seen as a reference to the semantic web. So, the Web 3.0 uses the semantic web technology for understanding the content and context of the people. The semantic web refers to the technology that make use the internet better by understanding the meaning of what people are doing, not just the way pages link to each other. In the earlier cases, the web pages were linked to each other using the hyperlinks and we were accessing the same by clicking on the hyperlinks. But while using Web 3.0, the semantic web, the technology is able to interact with the people. Web 3.0 is also known as read-write intelligent web. Web 3.0 is supposed to be more connected and intelligent with major emerging technology trends like semantic web, data mining, machine learning, natural language processing, artificial intelligence, and other such technologies focused on information which is machine facilitated. You might have heard many of the terms like data mining, machine learning, natural language processing, and most often artificial intelligence. So Web 3.0 is basically revolves around the semantic web and artificial intelligence. This diagram shows how Web 3.0 semantic web works. Okay, so the producers and consumers are increased with the time. Next comes the database. Okay, Web 3.0 is collection of enormous databases which can be connected on demand. Linking data is the power of Web 3.0. So, the figure shows when we want to access the salary of an employee in an organization of a particular department. So, what will happen? If we want to fetch the salary of an employee, it will fetch the result in fraction of second through the different databases. So, Web 3.0 is collection of enormous databases. Whenever we need any information, the various databases connect with each other in real time to fetch the information, fetch the desired information. Say for example, department employee, departments, organization, employees database, salary database, and all will connect with each other and will generate the result. So, linking data is the power of Web 3.0. So, some technologies of Web 3.0 are RDF, XML, URI, Sparkle, XDI, XRI, SWIRL, that is SWRL, XFN, OWL, API, and QoRT. Difference between Web 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. So, earlier we read about the difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0. Now, we are differentiating between Web 1.0, 2.0 and 3.0. So, Web 1.0 was read-only static web, whereas 2.0 is read-write interactive web and 3.0 is read-write intelligent web. Okay, Web 1.0 was company oriented. Few companies used to develop their websites and used to share the information on the website, whereas in Web 2.0 it was community oriented. They have provided different platforms where people used to collaborate and share their information through the websites. Now individual oriented. Web 3.0 has become individual oriented. Anyone can write, edit, share the information using semantic web. Now Web 1.0 was very less portable. Okay, few computer equipments were used. In Web 2.0, the portability was increased to medium level, that is, mobile equipments were used, and Web 3.0 was highly portable, is highly portable. Mobile and consumer electronics are used. Web 1.0, professionally standalone applications were there. In Web 2.0, development of user development applications, whereas in Web 3.0, user developed smart applications. In Web 1.0, syntax aware basic browsing and search capabilities, whereas in 2.0, syntax was aware, advanced browsing and search capabilities were developed. In 3.0, content aware, that is semantic web was developed. It was understanding the content and context. Next generation browsing and search capabilities were developed in Web 3.0. In Web 1.0, low data richness, that is, it was using HTML, whereas in Web 2.0, it was using XML, and in Web 3.0, it is now using what? RDI, high data richness is there. In Web 1.0, it was point-to-point hub architecture. In Web 2.0, it is service-oriented architecture. In Web 3.0, web-oriented architecture was there. Web 1.0 were using sliced data, whereas in Web 2.0, light interlinked data was there. And now in Web 3.0, worldwide database is used. Now, what are the advantages of Web 3.0? Web 3.0 is more advantageous over the Web 2.0 and 1.0 in its efficiency in searching of results, efficiency in browsing for the user as there is better access to information. Okay, change in human interaction with the computer as the end user has complete control over their data by encrypting it. Intermediates like Apple and Google and even governments will no longer have control over the data services or sites. People are controlling the data. Digital assets can be transferred and moved quickly and efficiently, leading to distribution of wealth with no barriers. No interruption of services as data is stored in nodes to reduce the redundancy. It has reduced what? Redundancy, duplication of information. Multiple tasks will eliminate interruptions, inflow of data sharing, information will be easier. Harder to adopt fake identity online. It has brought what? Much security for sharing of information. Easier to work on the internet since it can be personalized. Disadvantages of Web 3.0. As the advantages, there are disadvantages also. What are the disadvantages? Only advanced devices will be able to handle Web 3.0, locking out the population that can't afford such devices. Okay, as the technology will be very effective and only advanced devices will be able to handle Web 3.0. So, it is not affordable for people. Web 3.0 will be complicated for newcomers to grasp the concept. Privacy policy will be needed more than with previous web generations, as privacy will be at stake. So, some policies should be needed. It will be easier to find people's private and personal information, as the technology is very advanced. It will put the personal information at danger. So, there should be some privacy policy, and what it will be easier to find people's private and personal information. So, security measures should be taken. Web 1.0 website will seem obsolete, rendering them less appealing to customers. People will spend too much time on the internet. Web 3.0 will provide less anonymity, so reputation management will be needed more than ever. Offers the possibility of mass entertainment, which comes with social consequences. Some examples of Web 3.0 are Google Alexa, Apple Siri, Facebook, Freebase, Amazon, Netflix. You might have used Google Alexa, Apple Siri, Facebook app, you know. So, Web 3.0 is emerging web technology. We are still using a mix of Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 technologies. On one hand, we are using blogs, wikis, social bookmarking, RSS for creating and sharing the content through these platforms. And on the other hand, using artificial intelligence, semantic web, blockchain technology, where web is understanding our interest, likings, and serving us the information. These are the references we have used for the presentation. Thank you.